Ann Arbor Inclusive is produced in part with the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues and CTN. The views and opinions expressed in the show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Commission or CTN. For more information about the Commission on Disability Issues, visit a2gov.org/disability resources. If you have program topic suggestions, please email a2disabilityissues@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome back to Ann Arbor Inclusive. I'm Tom Hoatland, your host. Ann Arbor Inclusive is brought to you by the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. Today, I'm really happy to highlight a longstanding organization in Washtenaw County that serves people with disabilities. And I think that you'll be impressed with the different ways that they work with people with disabilities and empower them for success. Today, we're going to be talking with Jan Little, and she is the organization's Chief Executive Officer. Jan, welcome to Ann Arbor Inclusive.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sure. I hope we find you safe and healthy.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about Michigan Ability Partners. No one can say it better than you can.
Well, thank you. Michigan Ability Partners is a nonprofit here in Ann Arbor. We have been part of the community since 1985. So we just celebrated our 35th anniversary. It's very hard to believe, especially when I think back that I was the first employee hired by Michigan Ability Partners. It was a different name back then, but basically the same services. Our focus is working with people with disabilities, a very large portion veterans who need housing, financial services, and employment services.
Okay. And obviously, you're working with, I think I read you're working with more than just veterans, though, correct?
Sure. Oh, yes. About 25 to 30%, depending on what programs are running, are veterans, military veterans,
Okay.
primarily homeless veterans. So approximately 65 to 70% of our population are people with disabilities who need housing, who need employment, and who need financial services. So, we work with people who often come to us because they don't have a lot of other options. We consider ourselves kind of a last resort agency for some of the services that we provide. And, even though we offer a lot and we have a lot of programs, everyone who comes to MAP has some kind of disability. Okay. And that's really what's led them to our services.
And those disabilities aren't always visible. They're not always noticeable. And a lot of times people take for granted that someone, they don't even know that someone has a disability, or they don't even consider whatever that person has to have a significant enough disability, when we know that, mental disabilities can be, mental health can be just as limiting and just as challenging as physical disabilities go. So how do people get involved? Like, how do you find the folks to work with?
Well, we are very involved in the community, and so for each particular service, there's a different referral source, there's a different application process, a different way to become a MAP client. So, for example, one of our largest programs is our representative payee program, and that program serves over 500 individuals who are generally referred to us by Social Security. Not everyone. We also get referrals from the VA, and sometimes just individuals refer themselves.
They just find out about you.
They hear about us word of mouth, or through case managers. We work with community mental health, as well as working with other service providers in the community that refer people for that service. On the housing side, it's a little bit different. We own and operate 44 units of housing over 7 sites. And that
Wow.
housing is for everyone that comes to us is homeless. There's a community process, community housing prioritization. We call it the CHIP committee, but it's a process by which the whole community of service providers works to prioritize the most vulnerable people who are homeless and need housing. And that's how our units are filled.
Okay. So all of your clients are homeless?
On the housing side.
Okay.
Yeah. On the employment side, another big program that we have is our employment services. And that is for students with disabilities, generally high school age, 14 and up,
Okay.
who are looking for exposure to work, to learning work skills, and to really just figure out what are they going to do when they get out of school. Are they going to go on and further their education? Are they going to be in a vocation? Our programming helps those students figure that out.
Okay. All
So
right.
we have summer program as well as classroom program for that, and a wide range of abilities and disabilities with that student population. And then
Go ahead.
I was going to say we serve the general population of adults who have disabilities, again, varying physical disabilities, emotional disabilities, mental health issues, cognitive impairments, all different disabilities. I mean, we serve the whole gamut to help people find employment that meets their needs.
Yeah. Do you do any work with the employers themselves to make them open to employment for people with
Sure. I mean,
disabilities?
that's a big piece of it. A big piece of it is educating employers on what it means to employ someone with a disability and what might they do different to make it a successful employment situation. So, we work with employers on easy accommodations. Sometimes it's just a scheduling thing. I mean, it can be any number of accommodations, but our staff are trained to teach those.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. I know that's sometimes as big of a challenge as it is to find a job for folks with disabilities. And so that brings up, sort of a segue into the myths that the general population have towards people with disabilities. I know you guys are responsible for, or one of your services is sort of dispelling those myths and setting the record straight. Can you give us a little bit of insight into that?
Yes, I mean, as you know, there's a lot of stigma about sometimes just human services in general and the need for them and who utilizes them. And I think one of the biggest stigmas or myths is that that people are lazy, that they're looking for a handout. I think that is absolutely not true. And for all of the years that I've worked at Michigan Ability Partners in the employment programs and the housing programs, I've seen firsthand, once you give someone an opportunity and to better themselves, to learn, to work, to earn a paycheck, you see incredible change and success in people. So I feel like that stigma we are dispelling all the time, that people really just need opportunity.
And you're dispelling it by demonstration. You're not just telling folks, you're showing them, look, this is what our clients do. This is what they've done. Do you have any favorite stories to that end? Some of your most rewarding things that you've seen since you've been there?
Sure. I mean, there's been many over the years, and my whole adult career has been at MAP, so I have lots of stories, but I'll tell you one in particular that I am so proud of and just still moves me after, 15 years. When in 2005, MAP was building an affordable housing project for people who are homeless. And the focus was on working with individuals that were coming right off the streets or from shelter. And so many people hadn't worked or been housed in years. So interestingly enough, as the project manager, I worked with the crew, which there were 24 individuals that were on individuals with disabilities who are homeless, working on a crew to help build their own housing. And it was 10 units. It was a fabulous experience. Just working with the contractor and showing the contractors, everyone here has an ability and has the potential to have a new skill set. We're going to work together to make that happen. And, contractors, there's a few stigmas about them as well, and I won't go into that. I'll just say that they were fabulous. And
That's awesome.
And watching someone who hadn't lived in an apartment or in housing for sometimes years, learn how to put down a wood floor, learn how to, put Tyvek on the outside of their apartment that they're going to be living in, hang cabinets, hang closet doors, paint them. I mean, they participated in so much. And in fact, there were several that were offered, both male and female, that were offered positions by the contractors at the end of the project.
I wondered.
Yeah, so
because
it was
they probably saw
huge.
so much pride there because, like you said, not only had they not had a place to live for a long time, they also hadn't earned a living for a long time.
Right. I will tell you just really quickly about
Yeah.
one person that moved in. When he moved in, he was struggling a little bit. And he said to me, I never realized how difficult it is to be housed. I never had bills when I was living on the street. I didn't have to worry about paying the electric. He said, but I have electric, I have heat, I have, it was this kind of this struggle that he was having with the success of building a place to live and moving into it, but then also the reality of the responsibilities of homeownership in a way. Yeah. And even though this was a rental property, it very much felt like people owned it.
That pride of ownership that people show.
Oh, absolutely. They were mowing the grass. They were planting flowers. They were building a brick walkway to a gazebo. I mean, they participated in and continue to. Some of the folks that live in our housing are the original participants.
Wow.
They're
not going anywhere.
I will tell you that permanent supported housing works. It is a strategy that works to keep people housed, to give them that stability, give them that opportunity. Many of the people in our properties also have had a payee, also have participated in the vocational training and have had long-time jobs. So it's, we're able to offer so many services that fill gaps that aren't available in other places, and many clients benefit from all of those services.
Yeah, when you said permanent housing, I can imagine that for some folks, part of it that works is that they're feeling a place of security and thinking to themselves, or they're not thinking to themselves, where to next? Where am I going to end up next?
Well, if you think about what it's like to be on the streets and you're really worried about your next meal and where are you going to lay your head, right? If you don't have to worry about that and you can get creative and you can start to, even just dream about other things that you want. Maybe you've never had that opportunity to think about, what is it that I want?
Yeah.
It's, how am I going to survive?
Yeah.
So, I feel like MAP gives people that opportunity. And, I did send a video along that really, I think captures some of the really most powerful moments of success for people. It will show some of their vulnerability, but it will also show some of the things that that MAP can offer to them. And it's in their words. I could tell you all day. I love talking about MAP. I
Yeah.
could tell you all day about all the things that we do. But, you know, when you hear it from our participants who are living it, it's very powerful.
Well, with that, why don't we take a look and we'll chat on the other side.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
The piano has always been a passion of mine, but my position in life that I wasn't able to tap into that. You know, I kind of feel my situation has denied me the time to exercise that skill. Before I got in touch with MAP, I was homeless. I have lived in shelters, warming centers, the streets. I had kind of been out there so long that it almost became a way of life. You know, it's a late dream, but it's a dream being fulfilled. I feel like I'm somebody now. I don't feel invisible anymore. I'm just grateful to be a part of this.
So the circumstances that I was in before I came here to Michigan Ability Partners is that I was disabled and it's hard to find employment. Worrying and suffering, trying to figure out, like, I need a job. How am I going to get this job? Ended up finding a job through at St. Luke's Lutheran Church, just having that support from MAPS. Definitely MAP has put everything, brought it all together in my life, because now that I have a job, my life is I'm a lot more happier. And it was all of these necessary steps to help people that are disabled to be able to work, and whatever thing that you need adjusted, anything that you need for them to help you, they were here to help me.
Before coming here to the MAP program, I was in the Lighthouse, which is a treatment program. And after getting out of treatment, I had no place to go. The help that MAP has given me, it has given me, basically helped me back to get my life back. In return, it's helped me get reintegrated into society, and which is that's a great step for me, because I know that for a lot of vets, it's hard for us to ask for help. But there are organizations out there like MAP, Michigan Ability Partners, that are willing to help us if they have the funding. So if you're a disabled vet, or if you're a veteran and you lost your way, get in touch with some of these agencies out there, and maybe they can help you find the things that you need. And hopefully, if you're not a veteran and you're able to donate, help these Michigan Ability Partners and different organizations out, so that they can help other people find their way.
Wow, you're right. I think you use the word powerful, and you are absolutely right. It's transformative. It's everything that you've been talking about and more. What is there anything about MAP, Michigan Ability Partners, that you know you want our viewers to see, that you want our community to know, that they might not find out otherwise?
Yeah, so what I want people to know is that MAP fills lots of needs in the community. We are not a cookie cutter program. It's very much tailored to whatever individuals need, and I want people to know that the programs that we have are working, and that's why we're here. I mean, that's why 35 years later, even though our services have changed and morphed over time, they're essential services that work, that help people with disabilities become independent. And independence looks different for everybody, but really we're talking about stability and reaching your own potential.
So I imagine that, because we've all been challenged, I imagine it's been a challenge for your organization, but also for your residents and your clients as far as the pandemic goes. Can you tell us those challenges and what you've
Yeah,
done to
I
improve
mean,
that?
I can tell you that I would have never dreamed or been been able to prepare myself or the agency for something like this. And a year ago, if you would have told me what it was going to look like, I would have said, no,
Right.
no way. How do we deal with this?
Yeah.
We're a service industry, right? We serve people. We work with people every day. We need to see them. We've become creative. On the agency side, I've had to make sure that all staff have equipment, right? So they can connect with each other, connect with the community, connect with our clients. And, so there's the logistics of that, as well as then, the people side has been, for example, we have a food pantry. People have the ability to come up to MAP every day and get a food bag if they need it.
Oh.
They don't even have to be MAP's client. They can just come get it. We now have had to package food, take it to individuals, take it to housing sites, and make it available. We know that that's been an issue for people. Transportation, a lot of people haven't wanted to take the bus during the pandemic. So
Yeah.
how do we help them meet their needs with the transportation issue? Is it something that staff can do for them, with them, instead of them? I mean, so we've had to become really creative with how we deliver the service. We never stopped a day. We never hit pause. We've, every week since the pandemic, we've been placing people into housing. It looks a little different. Some of the places that we get donations from weren't or aren't doing that anymore. So we have to try to find things like beds and furniture. And so when we move someone into housing, they have something to make it a home, not
Yeah.
just,
Right.
not just a shelter.
Yeah. So
It's been challenging. It really has.
yeah. It looks like you're rising to the occasion. Are you all working remotely as much as possible?
Yeah, for the most part, we are. Our offices are still open, and we're open by appointment. And then for our pay service, we're open 2 mornings a week.
Okay.
So, we've had to follow all the CDC regulations in our local health department, make sure we never have more than 10 people in our office at a time.
Okay.
All of the procedures that all of us have had to try to figure out. But yeah, we've stayed open, and I'm really proud of the staff. They're doing a great job.
That's great.
And thank goodness we have a vaccine. So hopefully we'll get back to normal sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. So how can people support MAP?
So, MAP has lots of needs. I mentioned we're moving people into housing all of the time. We need resources to help people move into their housing. It's a very generous community, and we do work with partners on this, but one of our biggest needs is a storage unit. I may have someone today that calls me that says, oh, I've got this wonderful kitchen set for you and a bed for your next person that moves in. And we need a place to put that until that person actually moves in.
Right.
Something like that. There's opportunity for volunteers to deliver food. There's opportunities to do clothing and hat drives and things like that. There's in-kind services are always needed. Getting involved on a board committee, helping with fundraising. It's been really, really hard to fundraise this year. I'll be really honest. We had to cancel our big event, and that hurt us. That set us back. So, money to operate the program, funds. I know, there's probably donor fatigue right now, but it's a true fact that we do need that to survive. So
yeah, there's donor fatigue, but we saw this after 9/11, the nonprofit business, if you will, and it was short-lived because people got back into that altruism and went, got back to their local organizations that they've always supported. So I don't think I'm hoping that that's the same thing, but I think people might want to know if they could donate food Is that something, how do you work that?
Sure. So I would say if someone wants to donate food, to go through food gatherers. They are a local community agency that we partner with.
Okay.
And because of limited office hours and things like that, we're not really able to accept food at the MAP office. We partner with food gatherers, we get weekly deliveries, and then we distribute from there. So, but food is always needed. You know, furnishings are always needed. Things like, you know, lamps and bedding and pillows and, you know, things like that. And those are some things that are dry storage that won't go bad, right? That we can try to find space for.
And where would people donate furniture and home goods?
So we would pick them up. We have a van and a pickup, and we would pick them up. We would just work with the donor on what is a good time, and you know, truthfully, because we are moving people every week, we have a need all of the time. So, you know, they can connect with us through our website, mapagency.org, or you know, call the office. The number is on the website, but I can give that as well. It's 734-975-6880, and let us know you have a donation of furniture. That's
great. Well, Jan, I'm so glad I got to meet you and learn so much more about MAP than I already knew. You're doing great things in our community, and I like the hands-on, full participation sort of aspect of your mission, and especially that you're working with veterans and homeless veterans at that. They don't deserve, you know, to not have a roof over their head after serving our country. And so I'm very glad to hear that's a big part of your programming. So we encourage folks to learn more about MAP by following the website that we're going to post here. And as always, I appreciate all of our viewers of Ann Arbor Inclusive. Until next month, I'm Tom Holtland, your host of Ann Arbor Inclusive, a program of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. Thank you. We'll see you next time.